morning, sit down.
Thank you, teacher.
Let's have some reading today.
Yes,
Okay.
teacher.
There's a paragraph written on the board. Now I want you to get up and read one by one from the board. Okay. Now shall we start with Deepak? Yes, Deepak, I want you to read the paragraph now.
Rohan gets up early in the morning. This is his birthday. He was very excited and eagerly awaiting for his day, as he knows he gets new clothes and lot of gifts.
Very good, Deepak. Okay, Ashish, now you read.
Rohan gets up
Early in the morning.
in the morning. It is
His birthday.
his birthday.
Ashish. Okay, read the next sentence. He is very excited.
Is very excited.
Excited. Ashish. Read the next sentence.
And
Eagerly awaiting
eagerly waiting
for this day.
for this day.
Ashish, you're really bad at reading. What is wrong with you? You can't even spell a single word. You got an A+ in computers. You're even good at sports. I don't know what the problem is. You are a 4th standard student. You can't even read a single sentence. This is too bad, Ashish.
I'm trying hard. Still I cannot read. But nobody is understanding my problem.
Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Please sit down.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, let us have dictation today.
Yes, miss.
Nikhil, please come here. Write it on the board. That night, one of the servants brought a message from my cousin, in the country.
Nikhil would be the smartest student in the whole school if instructions were entirely oral. His only problem is writing.
My only worry is my son's performance in maths. He is very good in science, he scores well in social studies. Even though he is in class 5, he is unable to do simple calculations. I don't know what is the problem. I am really concerned about it.
In fact, we put him in a best school, stopped playing in the evenings, and we sent him coaching class in maths. And even in spite of this, he is not able to solve his problems in maths, and really I'm worried.
Why is this boy not able to cope in mathematics? These are the examples of students who are normal in every respect except for their classroom studies. They have problems with their reading, writing, comprehension or calculation. Ashish's memory is very good with regard to his favorite sport, cricket. He can sing a song by just listening to it once. But he is unable to remember what has happened in the previous class. Reason? He has learning difficulty. Parents always feel that he is not interested in studies and blame him. Teachers lose patience and call him dull. But both teachers and parents have failed to understand Ashish's problem.
Now, how do we get the 5-digit number?
Research in behavioral sciences has discovered that all children do not learn at the same pace or by the same method. Some are quick on the uptake of information, but bad at reproducing on paper. Some have mental blocks that prevent them from grasping, regardless of the number of times they are taught.
The education system has been made in such a way that it focuses only on the average child. A child who does not have intelligence in the traditional areas like methodological intelligence finds himself getting into trouble. So these are the areas where we talk about learning difficulties or even learning disabilities.
Let us say, what is learning difficulty? According to Coordinated Campaign for Learning Disabilities, learning disability, more positively referred to as learning difficulty, is the specific term used to describe a certain group of children and adults with noticeable problems in learning. There is a significant discrepancy between the potential and performance of such children. Charles Darwin, Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, George Bush, Tony Blair also faced the problem of learning difficulty during their school days. Let us see the learning process. The brain receives input through the eyes and the ears. It processes and stores information and gives the output in the form of language skills. If there is any disorder in this process, it affects learning. Let's now look into the causes of learning difficulty. Physical reasons like auditory and visual perception. Social and emotional factors. Recent research shows that genetic factors are also one of the causes for learning difficulty. Learning difficulty may also be a result of delayed brain development.
As it concerns the brain and behavior of the LD children, let's know about the brain in little detail. The brain has two parts mainly, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. The right hemisphere basically concerns with regard to the creative abilities of children like music, fine arts, and also the emotional aspects. Now we will look at the details of certain areas of the brain as it concerns with language and other activities.
Take a closer look at the left side of the brain. The top portion takes care of touch sensation. The area at the bottom is concerned with hearing sensation. This part receives and sorts out the sounds. Just below touch sensation, on to the right, is the visual area. Information that is received through the eyes is analyzed and understood in this part of the brain. Speech is processed in the section that is indicated on the top left of the area mentioned as hearing. Speech is perceived, analyzed and understood in the part mentioned to the right side of the hearing area. The area on the top controls all the movements of the body. The top left section takes care of behavior and emotional aspects.
The learning disabled child may lack the dominance of the left hemisphere, so his language capacity will be limited. He has limitations in the information processing. Now, this may be due to the unobserved, minute differences in the way the brain is organized.
According to an estimate, about 15% of the school children have one or the other learning difficulty. Such children are found in every school, every class, and every section. Now, let's look at the common learning difficulties among children.
The main problems they face is with reading, writing, spellings, comprehension and mathematics.
There is dyslexia, there is dysgraphia, there is dyscalculia.
One of the signs to identify a child with dyslexia is his reading difficulties. This may be due to his perceptual problems. So some of the problems are confusion with similar sounding words, reversals like words like on for no, was for saw. Inversions like U for N, D for P, etc. Then omission or addition of words. Reading is not fluent because of spelling out each word, so it goes slow. And then they make anagrams of words like tried for tired, unclear for nuclear, and such.
Here is a child who has spelling problems. Now if we analyze the paragraph here, he has tried to spell night in a phonic way. He hasn't got the visual memory of the word night. One of the servants, now servants here, he has only got the first sound, but the middle and the last sounds are not there. Again, brought has been spelled phonically. Message, now he has inserted a word and only again the first sound he has got. The rest of the middle and the last sounds are missing. Of my, now actually it is from to for which he has written from my cousin. Now the word cousin is spelt in a bizarre manner here. It has no relation to the way it has been spelt. He sent, we can see a mirror image here, and obviously a poor visual memory for the word D. To inform, now again here there is no relation to the sound and the letter and the word dictated. Inform me that he was talking. Now here he has written THKING. He has got the last ending of the word, but there is again no relation to the word dictated. Taking a fortnight, again he has got the first sounds, but he has missed out on the middle and the last sounds. And again here in holiday, he has got the first sound and the sound of D, but he has not been able to process it correctly. And over here, beautiful, he has written butter, so he has again got only the first sound, but it has no connection. The sounds and the word dictated have no relation to each other.
A lot of parents saying that my child answers all the questions verbally, but when he goes for the exam, he has difficulty in writing.
This is the work of a 4th standard boy who has problems in simple arithmetic. In this case, the child has simplified the work by subtracting the smaller digit from the bigger digit in each place value. Observe the 100th place, in which he has intelligently reversed the order. He has not understood the concept of borrowing and carryover, as he failed to subtract the bigger digit from the smaller digit.
The role of the teacher is extremely important. I am aware of the fact that today's teachers are very stressed out. They are dealing with large numbers and they have very little time. Yet they can play a very important role. What teachers can do is identify children who do not seem to be conforming to the normal standards. Once they identify such children, if they can just talk to them, put them at ease, a few minutes at a time, it does not require long counseling sessions, they don't have to spend hours together with the child, but just a few questions here and there to put the child at ease and to try and understand what is happening with the child.
Teachers as well as parents should not harm a slow learning child by comparing him, blaming him, giving him physical punishment, overburdening him with homework and tuition, or branding him with a failure tag. In fact, parents can spend some quality time with children, helping them in organizing things, their timetable, and encouraging their plus points.
Every parent has very high expectations from our child, and there's nothing wrong in having those expectations. But let us understand that we should work as a team with our child. We should not at all times be the assessor and evaluator of our child.
Parents need to accept the child with learning disability unconditionally, and they have to learn to respect the child, and they should also learn to trust the child. and support the child with unconditional focus on the child's plus points.
The parents and teachers can form a team and say that, okay, we are not condemning the child because he is not doing well in studies or anything of that sort. We are going to work as a team and find out how to improve this child's learning. Once that decision has been taken, then the teacher can tell the parents to take the child to what we call as a special educator. There are a lot of special educators, at least available in all the major cities of the country.
What is psycho-educational assessment?
Psycho-educational assessment is a very comprehensive assessment, starting off from the history of the child, the history of the family, going on to any sort of emotional disturbances, going on to the IQ level, how intelligent is the child, and then going on to specific areas where the child needs any sort of support. Very normal child can benefit from counseling. It may be just an emotional disturbance in the child. It may be some mental block in the child. So one should never look at counseling as something where, you know, if something has gone wrong with the child, or it is only a crisis or a trauma or something of that sort. A child can be benefited by counseling. And how do we go about this counseling? We make friends with the child. The first time that the child comes for counseling, we won't talk anything about his studies, about his exams, or about his marks. We'll just make friends. We'll talk to him about what he likes, what he doesn't like, what's going on. Then we slowly lead him on, depending on the age of the child. Sometimes if the child is too small, we may not even talk one-to-one. We may make him sit and draw something. We may make him sit and do some puzzles. By that we start understanding the child. And then we lead on to the child to understand whether he has any emotional disturbances at home, any emotional disturbances with his friends, any emotional disturbances at school. Any of these three can put off the child. And it is absolutely essential that we counsel the parents along with the child.
During counseling, the learning needs of the child are located and specific teaching methods are advocated for the special educator to teach such children according to his or her needs.
One is what we call as remedial intervention, where a special educator sits with the child and does not teach the child. She teaches the child how to learn. The methodology of learning for these children is different compared to the average children. So a special educator, a remedial teacher or a resource room teacher helps this child the methodology which suits him best to learn.
A special educator has two roles. One is a non-academic role, the other one is an academic role. In the non-academic role, she has to increase the confidence of the child. This she can do by monitoring all the activities of the child, by noticing the slightest of the improvements, and more importantly telling him about his improvements. Then she has to motivate the child. This role is like an extended role of a mother and a teacher. One has to discipline and impart knowledge like a teacher and be very patient and affectionate like a mother.
Let us see the need for resource room in a school.
In every school there are children with a lot of learning disabilities. So it's very necessary for the schools to have a special educator where they can help the children with the learning disabilities. So I feel very strongly that every school should have a resource room. But a regular classroom teacher cannot handle these children with specific learning problems. The conventional methods of teaching will not help these children. So it's very necessary that the special educator trained to help these children with learning disabilities is a must in every school.
In the resource room, an individualized educational program is followed. The child's needs are taken into account. Long-term goals and short-term goals are planned within a particular time frame.
Let's see some of the important techniques used by special educators to teach these children.
Q for queen.
Queen. So Q makes the sound? Queen.
Queen.
N for?
Eggs.
N for?
Nest.
Nest. So N makes the sound? No.
The remedies.
In our remedial classes, we tackle these by having a reading session of not more than 15 minutes every day. The material should be interesting to the child and the difficult words are read out by the teacher herself. And then use of sight words which form the major part of the English language. If they get familiar with this, they are able to tackle better. Then use of flashcards. More difficult words are put on flashcards and then they are made to read and learn it.
Color coding is one of the remedial measures which we use in the resource room. The color coding helps the children to identify the numbers and their proper places. In addition, when there are 2 digits, then the children should know that only 1 digit has to be written in the units place and the other one should be taken over to the tens place. And while they are adding that, they should not leave out any of the numbers. All the 3 numbers here should be added, all the carried number and the numbers which are already there. And this method helps them to identify the places, that is units, tens and hundreds, and it also tells them that they should always start their addition from the units place and not from the hundreds place.
Lack of fine motor skills is one of the reasons for writing problems. This can be overcome by a technique called a sensory integration. In this method, the child is given an activity which requires him to use all his 10 fingers. This can be a simple craft work, typing or just coloring. By continuing such an activity consistently over a period of time, the brain slowly gets programmed to perform normal functions. This technique is extremely effective and has proved to be very successful.
There are 2 stages in learning difficulties. In the first stage, the child is learning to read and write. In the second stage, the child has already learned to read and write. Now he is reading to learn about his environment, reading more to learn about different subjects and about his world. At this stage also, he continues to have a lot of difficulties in comprehension and in expressive writing and other areas. At this stage, not many techniques are available today to guide the child. We can help the child by teaching him how to face the exams, how to face public exams, how to give preference to the questions, how to adjust the time. And these are all very important in children who have just with great difficulty they have come to the second stage, that is high school stage. So we have to teach these children these higher study skills.
A multisensory approach is used involving the visual, auditory, kinesthetic and tactile channels. Simple techniques are used to teach letter sound associations and phonic sounds. Sometimes we need to go close to a child and say a word. Sometimes the child needs to watch your lip movements. Sometimes the child is made to trace a word on the table or in the air. Sometimes a child is made to repeat the word as he writes. For effective remediation, early intervention is very important. Also, the first breakthrough is very important because it motivates the child to learn and also boosts his self-confidence and esteem. A 3-year period of remediation is the most effective and helps the child to get mainstreamed. The child belongs to the classroom and the resource room is only a bridge to help the child return to the classroom.
Timely intervention and remedial teaching will definitely put the child on the track and make him successful. Here is one such example. As a child, Kartikeya had a problem.
When my son was in preparatory only, I started noticing very inefficient recognition of letters. So in spite of my coaching him intensively also, he was not able to recognize the alphabets. So this problem continued in first standard also. So in spite of my intensive teaching also, he was not able to identify the numbers and alphabets.
He was forced to change the school thrice. Managed to pass somehow. The determined mother used the sensory integration technique to overcome the problem of reading and writing.
When he was in 7th standard, I made him to attend typing classes so that he can be exposed to the letters innumerable times so that his brain can register the relationship between name, sound and alphabets. This method really helped him to recognize the words in an automatic way. That gave him the confidence to achieve little bit of efficiency in basic skills, that is reading, writing and comprehension. On the way I was very supporting him emotionally, psychologically and socially also.
Today, Kartikeya works as a medical transcriptionist, doing one of the toughest technical jobs. And that involves listening, analyzing and reproducing simultaneously. A few organizations like the Spastic Society, KPAMRC, are working for this cause. The National Open School has introduced a system which is very helpful for children with learning difficulty. Unlike the conventional method, this system allows the student to take the examination in parts, also as and when he or she is ready for it. In life, there is nothing difficult. So is it with learning. The human mind, more so the young one, is adaptable, flexible. It only requires a proper mind molder to bring out the desired results. That is exactly what this campaign aims at and has set out to do. Let us endeavor to answer the prayer of this child.
I am a child. I have come to a world about which I know nothing. You hold in your hand my destiny. You determine largely whether I shall succeed or fail. Teach me, I pray you, that I may be a blessing to the world.